We back with another one, y'all. About to talk about the downfall of drill music, New York drill music. That is how New York drill music just lost its popularity. Check the video out, see what's going on. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button.
It's undeniable that New York was the birthplace of hip hop, and for a long time, it was the epicenter of that cultural world. In fact, it wasn't until the 90s rise of the West Coast that this dominance was even challenged. But as the West lost steam and the Dirty South rose, New York, once the heart of hip hop, started to fade into the background. And as the culture's former hub struggled to regain its footing, everyone pointed fingers at everyone else, with Mano saying,
"You couldn't be mad at a ASAP Rocky for getting on and saying that he was influenced by Houston music."
and Joe Budden arguing,
Me and 50 are the end of New York. My signing, the 50 signing, after that, it was the South. That was Walk It Out came out, and I'm blaming 50 and Ebro. I think both of them in combination killed it. Hey, you hear all the Atlanta say it now, they laugh at us. It's all that unity shit. In New York, though, nah, that wasn't the case back then. Ebro wasn't playing nobody in New York. ASAP Rocky has to feel like that. Know why?
But Joe Budden ain't even from New York. Joe Budden is from Jersey. So why? I guess Joe Budden consider himself from New York, even though he lived in New Jersey. But nah, what he's saying don't make no sense at all.
Ebro wasn't playing no fucking ASAP Rocky. They was looking everywhere else but New York.
Sadly, those old vets would be stuck reminiscing about the good old days and trying to assess what went wrong. And while they were all waiting around to find a new star to be given the torch, a new sound ignited the East Coast and put the Empire State back on the map. The music was New York drill, and for a long time, it seemed primed to take over the world. But as engaging as the music was, it came with a whole lot of baggage that threatened to derail it all at a moment's notice.
Drill rap, the latest evolution in hip-hop's 50-year history in New York City. But it's often been linked to violence. And just yesterday, a popular drill rapper known as Chef G was one of 32 gang members charged in a string of violence that left one person dead and dozen others injured. But some are trying to change the perception of drill rap.
And unfortunately, the worst.
Yeah, and a lot of them did go to jail too. Like Chef G, he in jail right now. He's spending a whole bunch of money on his girl. He better save some. He gonna end up broke and then be like, they stole him all my money.
Worst has happened, because now the momentum has all but withered away to nothing due to a wide array of circumstances and tragic mishaps that either cut careers short or, sadly, even people's time on Earth. And it wouldn't be the last time New York drill saw its brightest stars cut down before they could shine. Across the course of its history, this drill scene has been unfortunately defined by promising artists not being able to make the most of their hype through adverse circumstances. And unfortunately, this goes all the way back to the man who first brought the subgenre to commercial prominence.
This doesn't set New York back. We still created hip hop. We still have Sedgwick. We're in Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda be home soon.
Back in 2014, when Hot first dropped, Bobby Shmurda became a global phenomenon. The track earned him a major deal with Epic Records, and at the time, it looked like he had unlimited potential. But that momentum was cut short when a RICO case sent not only Bobby, but his entire GS9 crew to prison. Even then, he built goodwill after taking a plea deal that gave him more time behind bars so Rowdy Rebel could come home earlier. When he finally came out the penitentiary, Bobby's street credibility made his streams skyrocket by.
And that was stupid for you to do that so Rowdy Rebel could get his sentence reduced, and then both of y'all come home and don't even talk to each other. We ain't getting no music or nothing. We expected greatness. What we got? I think Bobby, remember he just got his chains took the other day somewhere, and Rowdy Rebel, I think he got a case for a gun charge, I think in LA or something like that. It's like, come on, bro. And everybody was backing them. Everybody, we thought they was gonna give us something, man. We ain't getting nothing.
by more than 624%. Yet instead of building on that hype, his comeback fell flat. Allegations, weak records, and underwhelming performances dragged his name down to the point where he couldn't even sell out small venues and had to cancel his entire tour. Now, with his career nearing wreckage, Bobby has turned to blaming everyone but himself.
We got a mini tour coming up. I'm be releasing soon. I want y'all to get ready for that. And I also want to apologize to all the blogs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I shot somebody's sister when I was growing up. I don't know if I shot somebody's brother. I don't know if I robbed somebody when I was growing up. But this week and the next week, I'm gonna be posting a lot of things that we're gonna be doing, and I do want some support from the blogs. Not that support that the all the support that I'm getting from, like, you know, academics, No Jumper, Angelina Jolie, whatever the name is. You know what I'm saying? Because the point blank, yeah, they hating. But listen. I just want this to say, I'm gonna be dropping a lot of music, right? And the point that don't support what I'm doing, but they support all the bullshit that going on, all the fake shit that doing, you know what I'm saying, is crazy.
Since then, the man who got famous for blatantly discussing
No, not having a hit since Hot Nigga is crazy. Yeah, that's what's crazy. Bobby, we need another hit. I'm tired of seeing you in hotels with these white girls. I'm tired of hearing about you out here getting punched on. I'm tired of hearing about you getting your jewelry took. I'm tired of hearing all that. What we need is some hits. If you ain't got no hit, go sit. That's the new rule. If you ain't got no hit, go sit. You see, a lot of these dudes now, speaking on the snitching and all that, because that's keeping them relevant on the internet, because they ain't got no hit. So if you ain't got no hit, go sit. I'm going to start there. If you ain't got no hit, go sit campaign.
Discussing real crimes is now turning against hip-hop culture and claiming it's damaging to society.
And when these kids are following you guys and you're rapping about these lifestyles, it's in danger. It's very detrimental. You know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous to the communities that these little kids think that is going on, that you did not even live. I think rap's supposed to be telling motherfuckers to go from negative to positive, coming from poverty to going to riches or stuff like that, and how to stay in that and how to change. That's the shit I want to hear. I want to hear about living life. That's why I don't listen to rap. For real, I don't listen to rap.
Although hip-hop is supposed to provide that aspirational rags to riches story, there are way too many modern examples where this isn't something that can be sustained. And while Bobby at least still has the outside chance of redeeming himself, the legacies of others are now in the hands of their estates after they were tragically killed before their time. Here, we have none other than the late great Pop Smoke.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke, man. You take a moment of silence for Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke was hotter than a firecracker. He was steaming. The album 10 out of 10, hit after hit after hit. Pop Smoke had a style, had a wave that it was so crazy, it was sweeping over everything, taking over everything. Even the dudes that been rapping way before him, even the dudes that was doing the New York drill way before him. Then Pop Smoke get killed. Then a million Pop Smoke clones come out of nowhere. And it's like, I don't know if they was just trying to eat off his name, his buzz, his sound or something, but it's like they done disappeared. You don't even hear from those guys no more. I don't know where they at because I don't really know who they was, but I remember as soon as Pop Smoke got killed, a whole lot of rappers started coming out sounding just like him. Just like him. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke.
For a brief moment, Pop Smoke looked like the man who could carry Brooklyn drill to the top. With his gruff, unmistakable voice and natural superstar swagger, the Meet the Woo mixtapes made it clear he had something special. Tracks like Dior and Welcome to the Party were ringing out worldwide when tragedy struck. Just a week after Meet the Woo 2 peaked at number 7 on the charts, Pop Smoke was killed in a Hollywood Hills Airbnb during a botched robbery. Overnight, New York drill lost its brightest star, and without him, the scene scrambled for a replacement, leading to imitators like Dusty Locane, whose career became defined by constant comparisons to Pop.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what Dusty Locane been at, but I did like Dusty Locane though. I did like Dusty Locane. Dusty Locane, he got it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he doing now, but I ain't heard about him in a while.
If Pop Smoke greatest to do it, you know that. You entitled to your opinion. You don't know me. It's just if you believe that, stick to that. Don't switch when you see now. I'm up. You feel me? I'm living better. I'm doing better. If you believe that at some point in time I'm trying to be somebody or whatever the case may be. Elementary mostly, he left around 5th grade, 66, anybody who know. Yeah. But yeah, we used to do like growing up, me, Mikey, Stag, Ace, all of us, you feel me, went to that same school. So it's like, that's why Pop got lit. I didn't try to, I grew up with him, I know him. Cause I feel like you gotta give people, that's his shine, it's his time. Feel me? I feel like that's an attachment. People feel like I gotta get attached cause I knew him. Yeah. You know, that's not really, that wasn't really my bop.
But any hope of occupying the same spot was almost immediately ruled out when Pop's grieving brother, Obasi Jackson, came at him for what he viewed as a blatant attempt to hop on the wave.
Pop died. Niggas took Pop from us too soon. So niggas is trying to figure out who the next Pop. But little do niggas know, there is no next Pop. There is nobody could sound like him. Y'all could take word for word, but there's a vibe, there's a blessing that came with Pop Smoke that niggas do not have, you feel me? Yeah, I ain't trying to tell niggas don't eat, you feel me? That ain't my mission right now. My mission is saying, yo, if you are one of those people that sound like Pop, find your own style. Because it will come to a point where it will have to end. Don't you understand? My thing is just that, yo, bro, I'm not sitting here trying to hear knockoffs. You feel me? Like, we want to hear the real deals. But if you're trying to copy Pop Smoke, there's no benefit to that.
And initially, it seemed like the man to fill the
And Pop Smoke brother got a good point, and he is right, because it was a lot of knockoffs, and they did not last.
hole left by Pop was Pop himself. Courtesy of the shady businesses of posthumously released records, he would secure a #1 album with Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Initially, this project was met with a lot of enthusiasm, and felt like a fitting encapsulation of everything the young artist was about, particularly because it was put together by people who truly cared, such as 50 Cent.
The parties involved that aren't necessarily doing it for the same reasons I'm doing it, being in there invested in financially.
Yeah, you ain't taking no bread from this. Yeah.
I don't care. I'm doing it only based on the culture and what I would in my relationship with Pop Smoke. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So if you go, I wouldn't be working with these people. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to develop the relationship to do something that I would like to do for Pop Smoke. As soon as I know that the record is positioning itself as #1, I feel like I did enough.
But while Pop's first posthumous album was praised, the follow-up Faith was almost universally panned, seen as a corporate cash-in. Pop's manager Steven Victor caught backlash, and even Pusha T was denounced for promoting his own album on what was supposed to be Pop's project. Rowdy Rebel, calling out the label directly, wrote, "Shaking my head, I don't understand why my boy is not on this track. You know these industry dudes is straight suckers." Pop's close friend and producer Mike D was also blindsided, admitting, "I had no involvement in my dog's album. Didn't even know an album was dropping until it got broadcasted on the internet." With no more unreleased music left in the vault, Pop's catalog ended on a sour note, and today, his name is more likely to appear in controversy, like when Adam 22 gave a platform to Pop's killers. One of them, Blockstar, even explained why the trigger was pulled, saying it was simply because things were getting out of hand.
No one was intended to get hurt that night?
Nobody's intended to get hurt. I don't know, we was just kids being kids from the hood, and too much movement from everybody
in the house.
Too much shit going on. It was too much shit going on. So it's like it wasn't intentional.
As for his recently granted release, Blockstar had no argument when it came to questions of whether he should still be inside.
They right, I did get off too lightly.
Yeah, California be like that now.
But yeah, that's how it is, California. Well, I mean, I can't say what I wish happened to me, but honestly, I wish on nobody.
But perhaps most shockingly of all, he also refused to say sorry for what happened. Now elevated to legend status, the sad thing when it comes to Pop is that if he was still around, then New York drill might be in far better health than it currently is. Cause while some of the modern stars possess elements of what he had, they can't seem to be able to join up the dots. And a prime example of that comes in the form of a man.
But what's dude name? Ron Sumo, whatever his name, all they do. Man, they was cartwheeling and backflipping off every building and cab in Times Square. Like, New York had it, bro. I don't know what happened. I've never seen as a collective, but it wasn't just Pop Smoke. New York was finna take over for the drill, especially 5E. did the Big Drip and all that, they had it. I'm looking back at all that. What the hell happened? Where's Bambino at? Where, like, bro, it was so many people. I don't even remember all them. Some dude named Leak, he could rap, he could rap too. That he always had on the flat clothes with the good lyrics. Like, with all these dudes that, man, I don't know.
And who was actively co-signed by Pop.
He's about to pull up Fabio.
Oh, yeah. That record's crazy.
Foreign.
Yeah, Fabio Foreign.
Remember I told y'all.
Okay.
Fabio.
I seen he just got the deal, too.
He not with us. He not with them.
Right. But he would
label them, but he with us.
Fact.
Yeah. You understand? That's like hard.
Exploding onto the scene with breakout hits like Big Drip, people could be forgiven for assuming that Fabio Foreign emerged fully formed as a star in the making. But in actual fact, the Brooklyn MC who was...
Now, this was crazy too. Fabio was cooking before Big Drip came out. He was cooking. Already he was cooking. He was in the dude, I don't even know the dude name. The dude was a Crip, then he flipped blood, then they said he was Crip again. I don't know, but he was doing songs with that guy. But Fabio was already going crazy before Big Drip. Fabio was doing a lot of features, and Fabio just didn't have that one main hit. But when he came to Big Drip, it was over with.
Signed to Mace's Rich Fish label, had previously rhymed under the name Light Fabio, and even as he initially garnered success, the long-standing mystery over his age became a meme. Despite claiming he was around the same age as his teenage contemporaries, the 2011 video for Boss resurfaced, with Fabio appearing way back when drinking alcohol and being extensively tatted up.
Ain't nobody better be. Swag on point like the letter.
And from then on out, people struggled to take anything he said about his age or background at face value.
I had to change, I had to grow up instantly. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, like how old were you at the time?
I was, what year is this now? 2020? It's not 4 years ago?
2016.
I was 4 years ago. No,
2000.
Now it's 2020, right?
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah, so for 4 years, I was I got signed like the past year, but after that, like, I guess like I still had the crib for a little while, cause you know they can't kick you right out. But then like it was over. So I've been outside. I was outside. I call it outside. I don't really call it I just call it outside. I was outside for like 3 years.
Okay, because at one point you were working at White Castle
in high school, like 9th grade.
Okay.
9th, 10th, 11th, one of them grades. I was working with my girlfriend at the time.
He said Chief Keef influenced him to rap, but this was 2011. Fabio always asked the year because he got to do the math to figure out what age he should be. Just say you 30 and keep it moving. 30? He's like 40. Despite the doubts, Fabio pushed forward, and in the wake of Pop's passing, many saw him as the next man to carry New York drill. His biggest moment came with Kanye West. His feature on Off the Grid led to another album on his debut album, Bible. That project opened at number 9 with 29,000 units. Respectable, but nowhere near the momentum Pop once had. Since then, Fabio hasn't charted, and his 2023 EP Without Warning landed with barely a ripple. Instead, he's becoming an easy target for trolling. Whether it was beefing with Plaqueboy Max alongside Lil TJ, or getting a Timberland boot tattoo that felt less like a proud nod to New York street culture and more like pure cringe. This dude gets older and dumber every year. The public's growing disrespect is only part of the story. Like many of his peers, Fabio also ran into serious legal trouble. On New Year's Day in New Jersey, he allegedly threatened a woman with a gun during a parking dispute. He was hit with multiple charges, including weapons possession, aggravated assault, and terroristic threats. In the end, a guilty plea to third-degree terroristic threats cut his time down to 196 days served, sparing him a long sentence. Since then, Fabio has kept working, but it hasn't really added up to much. And while he still has his freedom, plenty of other New York drill stars never even got the chance to see how.
Hey, where's where all them producers at, man? Axel and all them, like, ain't he from London? And where the drill producers from New York? Like, bro, I'm talking about they had it from the rappers to the producers to everything. I don't know what none of these people at. I ain't gonna let y'all hear about none of these people. I remember at one time you couldn't stop hearing that little drop, that Axel or whatever it say, that little drop from Axel. Like, where's he at? What's going on? You mean to tell me? I know a couple people went to jail. I understand a couple people got killed. But this done wiped out the whole New York drill music. It's crazy.
How far their careers could go, because instead of studios, they're stuck in cells. One of the brightest examples is K-Flock. Among the many drill prospects now behind bars, none had more momentum than K-Flock. Allegedly tied to the 700 devs, the YGs, and his own crew, the OGs, K spent much of his youth in and out of juvenile detention, and it was there where he first started rapping. Pushed by his friend and mentor B-Love, K began dropping tracks that quickly caught fire. Songs like Opspada and PSA pulled in tens of millions of streams, and with a Lil TJ cosign, his buzz exploded. By late 2021, Capitol Records had signed him to a deal rumored to be around $3 million. But just 1 month after releasing the acclaimed DOA tape, his career came to a halt. K was arrested in connection with the killing of a 24-year-old by the name of Oscar Hernandez, a case that's remained murky ever since. Early reports claim K walked into
Everybody went in court and told on him. I forgot how many years they say he got. K-Flock ain't coming home no time soon.
a barbershop, antagonized Hernandez, and sparked a shootout. But K has always said it was self-defense. After he turned himself in, surveillance footage surfaced showing Hernandez actually following K outside, evidence his legal team says supports the claim he acted to protect himself.
I got a $3 million record deal, bro. You ain't finna see me walking on none of these streets, past none of these barbershops. Matter of fact, I get $3 million, I'm never going back to a barbershop at all. Niggas gotta come to me to cut my hair. If I got $3 million, I'm not going to no barbershop.
And no matter how much time passed, his lawyer has never wavered in the argument either.
Apparently about Kevin.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
That could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear he's going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get or do you not want it?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate.
For a long time, the future looked grim for him, with academics claiming in February 2023 that the feds just unsealed an indictment on K-Flock for a RICO charge and murder. The mandatory minimum if he doesn't beat those charges or snitch is life in prison. He is still facing state charges of murder that have him locked up. Now facing a long list of charges, K-Flock's trial began in May, and the fate of his co-defendants offered a grim preview of what could come his way. Most of those alongside him took plea deals to avoid life sentences or worse. Zay Muna and Nick B were handed 15 and 12 years, while Eroy received 138 months, over 11 years, for pleading guilty to attempted murder and racketeering. Even with all that, K has stayed optimistic, insisting that he'll be free soon.
Hey yo, I'll be back real soon. Shout out to my fans and my supporters, man. I love all y'all, man. For all of you out there, violence, man. For me, and do what y'all supposed to do, man. For me, get through life correctly, man.
Rather than being silent, Flock has remained active online from behind bars. Recently, he blew the whistle on the Essex County Correctional Facility where he's being held, claiming that they are currently giving out molded food, which was causing inmates to throw up blood and feel weak. Then he discussed his predicament, declaring that the feds hit me with a RICO and labeled me a chief. But despite his protests and all the debate around the case, K-Flock was found guilty and is now looking at up to 20 years in the pen. With that, another budding career was extinguished before I got the chance to get off the ground. But sometimes, an artist has already made tracks towards genuine stardom, only for their long-standing ties to the streets to come back and ruin it all. Sadly, this is where the story of Casanova lies, a famed MC who was once a Celeste of A$AP Rocky. Cass, who'd become synonymous with the untouchable gorilla Stone Nation Bloods, didn't actually join a gang till he was serving time in a juvenile detention center.
I turned blood in jail, you know what I'm saying? Because I started fighting them so much that
now you had the whole Rockefeller behind you. You know if you got Rockefeller behind you and they can't get you out the situation, you done really messed up. You see what I'm saying? Do that all the way for what, man? Cass was too hot. He should have changed up sooner. Crazy, bro.
They was like, man, you down, man. Come on. All right, we hear you. You ain't even Crip, you blood. And again, you fight for your cookies. There was little stuff like that. That was the trials and tribulations, like the getting punched in the face at a young age. Like, oh my gosh. Like, you like...
Even with moving out of the country, Casanova built momentum and eventually signed with Jay-Z's Roc Nation, determined to prove someone like him could make it. "I'm not a GOAT, but I'm hope," he told Revolt in 2019. "I'm a prime example of you could do it. A lot of rappers are silver-spooned, or they're not who they say they are. They really didn't go through the mud. I'm proof that you can be incarcerated, come home, and change your life around." By then, he knew the streets weren't where he belonged anymore, and he needed to realign his priorities if he wanted the success he'd been chasing.
If the people that signed me don't want me in their establishment, being tough ain't cool.
Right.
They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, other labels might allow their artists to wild out and troll and do whatever they gotta do to get the artist lit. But Roc Nation ain't with that. They like, I'm happy I'm there because they kind of like babysitting me. You know what I'm saying? So I just, at the end of the day, I don't want to be tough. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that stigma because you can't get no money.
But as his star grew, it appears he didn't fully let go of his gang ties, as he was indicted in 2020 alongside members of the notorious untouchable guerrilla Stone Nation. In the RICO case, members of the crew were accused of everything from firearm possession to conspiracy to distribute narcotics. From the outset, Cass declared that he was innocent and that it was his status as a high-profile figure in hip-hop that led to these charges being unjustly leveled against him.
As you already know, I'm fighting serious charges right now. But I'm innocent, that's one. Two, I've been fighting my whole life, so I'll get through this. But just understand how they can get you jammed up. You don't know nobody, you ain't got nothing to do with nothing, and they still get you jammed up. Rappers, we are a target. Just be careful out there. Watch who you associate with. Watch who people bring you around. And I'll see y'all soon, God willing.
But after,
why you didn't do all that? Yeah, nigga come out, watch this, do this, don't do this, don't do that. Nigga, you should have took your own advice, nigga. Yeah, because now you sitting up in there, nigga. These niggas, I ain't seen the nigga say free Casanova and I don't know how long. It's like niggas don't even remember you being in there. If you don't come out there now and then and say something on Instagram, niggas don't even be saying free you. You did all that for what? And you know why I'm even more mad about this situation? Because all these niggas telling now, yeah, but they all, boy, in Atlanta, boy, they full of rats. You see what I'm saying? All these niggas is telling them. So you kept it real. When you was with Jay-Z and them, and you could have left all that alone, but you decided to keep it real, keep it street, be tied in with the gang, wanted to be the big bad blood gang leader, and got smacked up in the RICO, whole career threw down the drain. Crazy.
After initially going on the run, Cass was subject to a nationwide manhunt. Then, in December of that year, he turned himself in. His wife Swaggy Jazzy actually documented his surrender on IG, with Cass promising that he would be home sooner than she thought. Once behind bars, Cass's lawyers put together a $2.5 million bond package, even offering 5 properties as collateral, but the judge denied it, citing him as a flight risk after his earlier attempt to outrun the law. Prosecutors then built their RICO case with everything from IG posts showing guns and marijuana to wiretap conversations with his gang leader. In the end, they had more than enough to throw the book at him. And the wild part is, Cass had openly talked about how situations like this usually play out.
You go to the feds for a fucking RICO and they offer you 20 years and you're a millionaire. You're telling.
Facing a possible life sentence, Cass was thrown into solitary for 4 months, isolated into a windowless cell to pressure him into cooperating. Eventually, he took a plea deal. While there's no evidence he snitched, Cass admitted to moving between 100 to 400 kilos of marijuana and playing a role in a 2020 Florida shooting, among other crimes. In a last attempt at leniency, he wrote to the judge, claiming he only leaned on gang ties to gain prominence in hip-hop, but it wasn't enough. He was handed 15 years, and turning his back on the crew would soon come back to haunt him. Not long after entering prison, Casanova was stabbed.
These internal reports from correction officers say Senior was slashed with a weapon by another inmate, Ulysses Lugo, and then chased him down with the help of others. We spoke with one officer who responded to the scene.
Inmate Lugo, you couldn't see his face because he was saturated in blood.
you couldn't see it at the time because his whole face was saturated in blood and his whole uniform was saturated in blood. Inmate Senior was sitting there and blood was just coming out of his face.
The stabbing came after Cass publicly declared he was no longer repping the gang. In retaliation, inmate Ulysses Lugo slashed his face before Cass and others fought back, leaving Lugo.
So, instead of being home for Thanksgiving, home with the holiday with your girl and your kids, you went here, you don't want to claim the gang no more, the same gang that just got you your time and all that. And then they cut you up. Crazy.
Needing stitches. Afterward, Cass tried once more to gain release from prison, but his requests were denied. Despite all of his potential, his story shows how past ties can block the path to a new life. But not every drill rapper's fate has been the same. Some have managed to dodge their charges and keep pushing forward. One of those is Sleepy Hollow. Alongside Chef G, he's been a staple of New York drill for years, dropping hyped tracks and even helping spark Doechie's anxiety after sampling her Swamp Sessions version long before the official release.
Sleepy, you kind of had another viral moment recently. Anxiety got a whole new set of legs.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How did you find that sample in the first place?
I was scrolling. I seen her freestyle it first, and I'm just like, yo, and then my man sent it to me. And I'm like, bro, I was just listening to this, listen to the whole freestyle. I'm like, yo, this shit is so fire. So I took her hook part, the anxiety part. I already had a song called Anxiety before, because that's like, I just loved speaking about that topic. That's how that shit came out. Sent it to John. He did the beat. We just went crazy.
Now,
yeah, shout out to Doechie too. Gangsta.
Type, does it trip you out seeing how even she's blown up? And now that song, as of the recording of this interview, that original sample just charted number 10.
Yeah, she did that. So I feel like it just be about the shit that people don't talk about. And anxiety is one of them things. So when somebody do speak about it, it's like fire, because mad people go through it. Yeah, shout out to her.
Well, Sleepy Hollow, I don't know where you been at, but wake up, because they need you, nigga. New York drill rap is on the tear right now. You got Fabulous and Jim Jones and Dave East and Mano just did that song about 50, and that's the biggest thing they talking about for New York right now. No, nigga, y'all need to do something, man, quick.
And while his album sales haven't amounted to blockbuster numbers, he's consistently fared quite well in that arena. Or at least he did until 2024's Read This When You Wake Up, basically vanishing without a trace. Sleepy's latest project may not have produced a hit on the level of Two Sauce or Murder, She Wrote, but at least he isn't locked up. In 2023, he and longtime collaborator Chef G were swept up in a massive RICO case targeting gangs in Flatbush and Crown Heights. They were among 32 people named in a 140-count indictment that tied the group to 12 shootings and even a murder caught on camera. Sleepy was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and gun possession, but avoided jail after posting a hefty bail. Since then, he's kept dropping heat alongside Chef G, and above all, he remains as uncompromising as ever, with his unresolved case still hanging over his head. But where he's still able to forge ahead, his rhyming partner hasn't been so lucky. Although initially released on a huge cash bail, Chef G wound up pleading guilty to attempted murder, but ultimately received a little leniency because there was little evidence linking him to that specific crime.
Counts of second-degree attempted murder and second-degree and fourth-degree conspiracy. The DA had asked for 20 years, but Brooklyn Supreme Court Justice Danny Chun gave Williams 5 years behind bars plus 5 years post-release supervision, explaining, quote, "I take into account consideration that you are not alleged with shooting anybody, not alleged to actually being the person who shot at or did commit the shooting, and that is very important in my opinion." Chef says he first joined a gang at the age of 12 and understands people might find that shocking, but in certain neighborhoods like his, you were assumed to be gang affiliated because of what street you grew up on.
Now facing a 5-year bid, the trapper has been very candid about both his music career and upcoming sentencing in recent interviews.
It's always going to be tough, you know what I'm saying? That's something very hard to prepare for, but it's like you build and you build and you put the right things in place and the right people in place, and you just hope for the best.
Now on the brink of spending years behind bars, Chef recently saluted his girl as the time turning himself in gets closer. With Chef G and Casanova behind bars, many of drill's early innovators have been forced out of the spotlight. Others tried to step in. But for rappers like C Blue, the same traps of the streets came back to haunt them. Born Cameron Williams in the Bronx, C Blue wasn't always chasing rap. In high school, he played sports and even dreamed of being a biochemist. Music, he later admitted, was more about securing the bag than being a lifelong career. But after catching a gun charge at 14, he leaned harder into hip-hop. His breakout hit Ozone put him on the map, leading to collabs with K-Flock and 26AR, and eventually a major deal with Interscope. That advance money would prove useful sooner than expected. One night, outside a Bronx bodega, cops confronted him. When he refused to take his hands out of his pockets, a scuffle broke out. Then, a gun went off, leading both C Blue and Officer Kasim Pennant shot in the leg. Blue was immediately arrested on assault and weapons charges. Afterwards, he told fans in a statement, "Believe nothing you read and half of what you see. My day ones know what it is. My label and loyal fans are standing by me through this." Although police accounts spread quickly in the media, C Blue would later explain what he says really happened that night.
The real story is I was shot by the police. You feel me? A lot of people troll, say I shot myself. No, it's not what happened. The police shot me. Dad, I was walking to my vehicle, regular going in my car. I was approached. I stopped. I asked the officer, what's the issue? Why do you want to talk to me? Why am I being stopped? He didn't answer my questions. He just proceeded to put his hands on my body, and he ended up firing a weapon that ended up hitting me. I personally don't know. He went to grab and a shot got fired. I got hit in my leg and his partner got grazed.
C Blue's team argued he was targeted because he was a drill rapper. After the incident, he was released on $250,000 bail, money reportedly coming from his Interscope advance. That move outraged critics who wanted to see him behind bars. NYPD Police Benevolent Association President Patrick Lynch declared, "The people of the Bronx won't be safe as long as he's on the bench." The individual chose to carry illegal guns twice. He chose to fight with and shoot a New York City police officer. There's no reason to believe he won't do the exact same thing when he's out on the street tonight. Though tried as an adult at first, the case shifted from Bronx Supreme Court to family court before eventually being dropped. Despite widespread belief that he had a gun, the judge ruled that the arresting officer's testimony was useless. It was inconsistent with the video. It was inconsistent with his fellow officer's testimony. It was self-serving. It had no value. Police unions blasted the decision, with Lynch calling it an absurd outcome that should outrage every New Yorker who wants to get illegal guns off our streets.
So if the judge feel like you shot him, then you shot him.
Yet despite everything, Blue has remained surprisingly calm, saying he doesn't hold bitterness towards the cops.
I don't have nothing against the police. I appreciate the things they do that are good, but I feel that they definitely do target drill artists a little bit more than the average guy because of the things we say in our music. But not everyone who says something lives by those codes and walks around doing those things. But music is art, so everyone is saying these things to reach a different audience.
C Blue's issues with the NYP didn't end there. In September 22, while sitting in a Hyundai, cops spotted a handgun under the front passenger seat. After a tense standoff, he was then taken into custody and held on a $100,000 bond. His lawyer, Don Florian, insisted he was innocent. My client was outside a car. Police came with their guns out, circling around the block. There's plenty of surveillance footage. Police targeted my client, guns drawn. He was scared for his life. He took out his phone. His hands were up. At the time, Blue was reportedly just trying to call his mother. At the hearing, prosecutors even used his social media and music against him, despite it being artistic expression. Still, C Blue has stayed focused on his craft, recently collaborating with KK Spin and LJGZ, and continuing to rap about the street life, even dissing dead ops and threatening rivals. But if history has shown anything, it's that blurring the line between rap and reality rarely ends well. For New York drill, it remains a dangerous cycle, one that too often leads to either a jail cell or a gravestone.
Yeah, man, they got to get back on the map. Y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about all this. It's your boy Buddha, I'm out.